Okay, stay with me here because what I'm about to tell you is going to sound completely backward. It's going to sound counterintuitive, maybe even a little crazy given what you're seeing on the news right now. But once you see the mechanics, once you understand the actual economic plumbing at play here, it's going to flip your entire understanding of this Liberation Day tariff situation on its head. The White House is celebrating. They're telling you that slapping a 10% tariff on Europe is a masterstroke. They're saying it's the only way to force Denmark to hand over Greenland, and that securing Greenland is the only way to build the Golden Dome and stop China from dominating the Arctic. That's the narrative. That's the strength argument. We punish Europe, we get the land, we beat China. Simple, right? Wrong. And here's why. Here's the part that almost nobody in the mainstream media is talking about. By securing the Arctic with these tariffs, we aren't blocking China. We are actually handing them the one thing they've been desperate for but couldn't get on their own, the European technology sector. Let's walk through this step by step, because the devil is in the details. First, let's look at the Golden Dome argument itself. The administration claims we need full sovereignty over Greenland to station the new THAAD-ER radar systems to track hypersonic missiles. It sounds reasonable. Greenland is way up north. It sits right on the flight path. But here's the technical reality that defense contractors talk about in private, but politicians ignore. Hypersonic glide vehicles don't fly like traditional ICBMs. They fly low. They hug the atmosphere. If you put a radar on the ice sheet in Greenland, its horizon line is actually limited by the curvature of the Earth. You can't see a glider coming over the pole until it's already too late. So, we are effectively blowing up the NATO alliance for a piece of real estate that doesn't even solve the physics problem of hypersonic intercepts. But that's not even the scary part. The scary part is the money. Think about what happens to a German machine manufacturer or a French aerospace company today. Yesterday, their biggest customer was the United States. Today, because of these 10% tariffs, they are priced out of the American market. Their profit margins just evaporated. Now, do those companies just close up shop? Do they fire everyone and go home? No, they look for a new buyer. And who is the only other economy on the planet with the cash reserves and the industrial demand to replace the United States? China. Beijing has been trying to buy into European high-tech firms for a decade, and for a decade, the U.S. State Department has successfully pressured Europe to say no. We've blocked them from buying German robotics. We've blocked them from buying Dutch chip-making machines. We used our economic leverage to keep European tech out of Chinese hands. But today, we just threw that leverage in the trash. If a German CEO has to choose between bankruptcy or selling a 30% stake to a Chinese state-owned enterprise, he's going to take the Chinese money. He has to. And just like that, the technology transfer we spent 20 years trying to prevent happens overnight. This is the paradox. This is what keeps strategists up at night. We are so focused on the map, on who owns the ice in Greenland, that we are losing the ledger. We are worried about Chinese icebreakers, which move at 15 knots. Meanwhile, Chinese capital is moving at the speed of light to scoop up distressed European assets that we just devalued. Let's look at the numbers. The European Union exports roughly $500 billion in goods to the US annually. If those goods are blocked, that surplus has to go somewhere. China doesn't need to invade Europe. They just need to open their ports. They can offer strategic trade relief, lowering their own tariffs on European cars and machinery. Suddenly, you have a Europe that is economically integrated with Asia, not America. You have a NATO alliance where the hardware is American, but the software and the supply chains are increasingly Chinese. And here's the kicker. The thing that really makes this situation absurd. We justified all of this, the tariffs, the ultimatums, the diplomatic arson, as a way to put America first. But if you look at the supply chains for the Golden Dome missile system itself, it relies on precision optics and specialized magnets. Where do those come from? Germany and Norway. By starting a trade war with the very countries that build the components for our own defense systems, we are actually making it harder and more expensive to build the shield we say we want. So, let's recap. We are alienating our closest allies. We are forcing European technology companies into the arms of Beijing. We are destabilizing the supply chain for our own military. And we are doing it all for a radar site that might not even work against the next generation of missiles. The White House calls this strength. But if you're sitting in Beijing right now watching the Western alliance tear itself apart, you don't call it strength. You call it a gift. But if you step back from the podiums and the press releases and look at the structural mechanics of the global system, you begin to see that this is not a negotiation. It is a demolition. What is being celebrated today as a move for national security is, in reality, the precise moment the United States began actively dismantling the architecture of its own global power.